Hey guys, Dino here, and welcome to Mass Effect 2 Part 5. Before I get started today, I wanted to address a little problem. I was talking to Bruce, and he was saying he has quite a few people going over there and saying things like he's a vagina, or he's a pussy, or you know, he sucks at Mass Effect, or whatever, compared to me. And I think it's a result of what I said originally when I was doing this playthrough. And, you know, if it was what I said, I apologize for the confusion. Bruce and I do have slightly different play styles, and that was a large reason why I wanted to do this Mass Effect 2 playthrough, but in no way did I mean to suggest that he actually is a fucking terrible player. Obviously, he's not. And it makes me look bad, and it's embarrassing, I guess, when I have people going over there slamming him for something that I thought was clear that I meant as a joke. So please do not do that. Now that we have that out of the way, we'll get to the good stuff. We have a lot of action going on today. Love to walk you guys through some of it. And I think I'm pretty happy with how most of this turned out. I don't know that it's possible to do. I won't say it's not possible to do better, but I consider it a successful segment if I'm essentially running around at little to no visible health the entire time, and more or less relying on shield charge for, you know, surviving. I think that if you're able to do that for, you know, the majority of that little combat segment you're in, I think you have essentially mastered the Vanguard class. And of course that only gets easier and easier as time goes on, and those powers, you know, recharge faster and let you charge around more and more. I have some really good bugs to show you guys today as well. Coming up here, I don't know, 6-7 minutes maybe, have some good double recharge bugs where I charge and then I try to shoot my shotgun. Instead of shooting my shotgun, he just simply charges again. So yeah, that's a new one. I hadn't seen that before. Unfortunately, during the final combat sequence, my hard drive, I thought this guy was dead. That was a weird charge. Unfortunately, during the final combat sequence, actually my other hard drive literally filled up to capacity. And I didn't realize that my recording shut off, so I had to replay everything all over again. And some really cool bugs that unfortunately you're not going to get to see because I had to erase footage to make space. I've talked about it a little bit, but I'm building a new computer, and part of that reason is I want to get more heavily into the PC side of recording. As most of you guys know, you know, recording Xbox games, console games is so easy, and oh man, it's just the way that it should be. But PC is nothing like recording in on console. Essentially what makes, well, there's two things that make console recording much easier. The first is that the files are much smaller because you're going through a device that I believe is converting them on the fly, or what's that word? Condensing them. I can't have any word. We'll just go with condensing. But the files you end up with are so much smaller that you can have a really dinky hard drive and have no problem at all recording hours and hours of footage. I think I recorded like 3 or 4 hours of COD the other day, and at the end of it, it was like 10 gigs, but 4 minutes, every 3 to 4 minutes of PC footage, and that's playing at half size, is 4 gigs, so huge difference in size. I want to put out some videos that talk about, you know, what's the best way to record and things like that, and I'll address these, go over them in more detail. But it's the other issue with recording with PC. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The other issue recording on PC is you're recording and playing on the same device. When you're doing it on console, I'm recording on my PC but playing on console, and it's even if you're recording on one hard drive and playing on another, you still have you know, your processor taking up work, and you still have things going on in the background that are using up work, and it's kind of stupid complicated. your game, when you play, you have a certain amount of frames that are playing, and these amount of frames, depending on how many you're getting, can drastically alter your gameplay performance. So when you get like what most people perceive as screen lag or frame rate issues, it's because your frame rates are dropping due to one problem or another. It's your computer can't handle it, but in the case of recording, the frames that you're recording at, it then matches your gameplay is now playing at those frames per second. So if you're wondering why your game is feeling choppy or why it's feeling odd, it's actually a similar sensation to playing Battlefield Bad Company 2 because they capped the frames per second. If you feel like it's playing, it just feels funny, it's most likely because you're playing at a frame rate that you're not used to. And the fewer frame rates, obviously, that you have, the choppier it's going to be, so the higher the better. But anyway, that's kind of that. That combat sequence we just saw, actually, I feel like is one of the harder combat scenes to go through because you have the potential to have guys just streaming in almost without end. They just seem like they constantly keep coming through. Once again, the fastest way to switch weapons in here is the same way you switch weapons on console, which is just pathetic and shouldn't be there. You need to have a quick swap weapon feature. And I said this in the first game, and I think a few of you guys were like, well, you can use the scroll wheel on the mouse or something. And yes, you're right. But what I'd also said is that allows you to select the weapon either above, directly above or below the one you're at, but you can't go from weapon 1 to 3. You go from weapon 1 to 2 or backwards and go 1 to 4. But you can't select that weapon in the middle and go 1 to 3. And either way, even if you could, I still feel like it takes a little too long to select weapons in here. But anyway, that's just nitpicking. So here we are, myself versus Garm, matching charge versus charge. Let's see which one comes out on top. Oh. Man, it looks like mine does because I get the double charge. So that's the double charge bug. In the earlier scenes where it failed, where I had to record all over again because I needed to make space, I think I actually recharged 3 or 4 times in a row. It was pretty crazy. So Mass Effect, I don't know if that's one of the PC things or if it's a console, or if it's game-wide and on console as well. But, as usual, there are almost always issues when you have ports one way or the other. But as I've said earlier, I think you tend to end up with a better product porting from PC to console as opposed to creating a project for console and then bringing it over to the computer. I think there's just too much on the computer that needs to have its own. It's too unique, essentially. So, anyway. But we'll see what happens. So, yeah, I mean, this is, I feel like you cannot die. I don't want to say you can't die as the Vanguard, but man, I feel like if you play somewhat smart, it can be pretty hard to die. Like as I'm playing aggressively like this, you just plow through shit so much faster. Gosh, this is so great. I just fucking brutalized her. I mean, and she had 3 layers of health, armor, shield, whatever. So, I mean, enemies don't get any tougher than that. That's as hard as it gets right there. And you can see I'm using the easier way you have on PC of ordering enemies around, or my allies around. I think, the allies they do okay. Sometimes it feels like they get in the way more than they help out. But at the same time, I think you can use them as a distraction fairly effectively. So like I try to order them so they'd be shooting at the guys from one side and I'd be approaching from another. Just one of the basic elements to any FPS game, or fuck, even sports in general. I don't know, grew up playing soccer a lot, is talking about triangles. Essentially, you're working the angles, right? So, 90-degree angles, and it's too hard you can't face both directions at once. So it's a great way to move around. And I think that your teammates, that's how you utilize them best, is when you put them on one side and you're on the other. So anyway, it works really well. This gunship, yeah, this fight isn't too bad. I don't think it's a really epic boss fight or anything like that. I'm kind of hoping for a little bit more, but about as good as it gets, I suppose. It's one thing I think they can improve on in Mass Effect 3 is some more substantial boss fights. This specific boss too, gunship, also has a nasty, nasty attack with those rockets. They have a tendency to juggle you, and yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that it's a lot of fun to be juggled and there's nothing you can do about it. That makes the game more fun. And BioWare, or I'm sorry, whatchamacallit, not BioWare, but the developers of Mass Effect clearly know that. That's why they put it in there. People want to be juggled. It's more fun that way. Back in the day, you go to the arcades, you know, play a little Mortal Kombat, do a little Sub-Zero action. You do the slide, ice, friggin' uppercut combo in the corner of the screen, and there's no way to get out of it. And the reason why that was there, same reason why it's here. It's fun that way. There's no chance of getting out of something. That's good design right there. And yeah, he just keeps firing a constant salvo, and if you get caught by the first one, there's absolutely nothing that you can do. I don't know that there's a more frustrating... I was gonna say, the only thing more frustrating than that is basically playing COD. So, this is kind of nice. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you guys can do this on console. I just cannot precision aim like that on console. I can't have a hard time hitting the fucking chest on console. But being able to pick off, you know, the little tiny spot of a gunship showing to the side without being hit is pretty nice, and so much easier for me on a mouse and keyboard. So here we go. That's 3 rockets in a row because I was hit by the first one, couldn't move. That's fabulous. A few guys mentioned that something about, it seemed that you might have felt like I was holding it against you guys for not being PC players, and I don't know. I'm a little surprised to hear that. That's definitely not the case. I mean, I'm now playing both. I definitely have it's no secret that I prefer the mouse and the keyboard, and you know, we know from basic trials that Microsoft did that, you know, mouse and keyboard seem to be superior over the console when they pitted them together. So that's really my only point with that. I think for the majority of everything else, the consoles are far superior. So definitely don't want you guys to think that I'm holding anything against anybody for not being a PC player. But a lot of you guys have requested you want to see PC footage, and I'm going to do my best to bring that around.
We're getting you out of here, Garrus. Just hold on. Radio Joker, make sure they're ready for us.
He's not gonna make it.
Poor Garrus. Pussy face, if you ask me. So this is where I'm going to leave off for today. The rest is basically a lot of dialogue. I know you guys requested you kind of want to listen to that. Tried to stay silent during that last little cutscene, but wasn't a whole lot going on. And I'm going to do my best to start putting out episodes of Mass Effect 2 more often. I'm going to try for 1 a day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So stay tuned. Hopefully tomorrow, Mass Effect 5 or 6, where we're at.
Hit. The doc's corrected with surgical procedures and some cybernetics. Best we can tell, he'll have full functionality, but...
Shepard?
Tough son of a bitch. Didn't think he'd be up yet.
Nobody would give me a mirror. How bad is it?
Hell, Garrus, you were always ugly. Slap some face paint on there, and no one will even notice.
Oh, don't make me laugh. Damn it, my face is barely holding together as it is. Probably for the best. Everyone was always ignoring you and hitting on me. Time for you to get a fair shot at it. Frankly, I'm more worried about you. Cerberus, Shepard. You remember those sick experiments they were doing?
That's why I'm glad you're here, Garrus. If I'm walking into hell, I want someone I trust at my side.
You realize this plan has me walking into hell, too. Just like old times. I'm fit for duty whenever you need me, Shepard. I'll settle in and see what I can do with the forward batteries.
Commander, can I help you with something?
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
Sounds good. Have to say you run this ship tight, and we're getting things done. We keep on track and maybe we'll figure this out. I hope so. I'm not looking forward to the debrief if it all goes to hell. Is there something specific? Or are you just checking in?
I like to know my crew. Forget procedure. Tell me about yourself.
Informal, huh? Everything's in my file. Ex-Alliance like you, no Reapers or anything, but I got swept under the rug too. The more good you do, the less they want to admit that something needed doing.
You look like you came through no worse for wear.
If nothing else, the Alliance trains their people well. Once you live that life, you can't sit around getting fat. You know how it goes. Although I bet Cerberus put you back together better than ever. Get any upgrades?
I'm glad enough they restored me to stock. Couldn't hurt to keep some spare parts handy, though.
I hear that. Your job isn't getting any safer. You know, I used to wonder what the big deal with you was. But now that we're in deep, I'm glad it's not me in the spotlight.
There's no hiding, Jacob. Not for any of us.
Don't worry. This is exactly what I signed on for. If that's all, Commander, I'll get back to my duties. There's a lot to get ready.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal. Earlier when we spoke, you were very open with me. I like that. But I hope I didn't come across as too flirty. I don't want to overstep my bounds.
You're very charming, Kelly.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual. Anyway, how may I help you, Commander?
Is there anything I should know?
Nothing right now. Anything else, Commander?
Do you have a moment to talk?
I always have time for you, Commander.
I better go.
Okay. Maybe we'll talk later.
What's this area of the ship?
Shepard, need me for something?
Have you got a minute?
Sure. Just checking the weapon systems. You can never be too careful. I thought I'd seen every weapon in the galaxy in our fight against Saren. Mercenary work showed me otherwise. And now Cerberus rebuilds the Normandy with a few upgrades to boot. I wish we'd joined up with them sooner.
You sure you're okay working with Cerberus?
I can't exactly doubt your judgment. Not after I got my own squad killed.
How did those mercenary gangs take down your team?
It was my own damn fault. One of my people betrayed me. A Turian named Sidonis. He drew me away just before the Mercs attacked my squad. Then he disappeared. Everyone except me is dead because of him. And because I didn't see it coming.
I'm not sure I understand. What happened exactly?
Sidonis asked for my help on a job. When I got to the meeting point, nobody was there. By the time I got back to our hideout, the Mercs had killed all but 2 of my squad. And they didn't last long.
Do you know where Sidonis is now?
No. His trail vanishes after he leaves Omega, but I'll keep hunting. I lost my whole team except for Sidonis. One day I'll find him and correct that. Thanks for coming by, Shepard. I've got some things to take care of. Shepard, need me for something?
Have you got a minute?
Can it wait for a bit? I'm in the middle of some calibrations.
Talk to you later, Garrus.
I'll be here if you need me.
Commander. What can I do for you?
You have a minute, Miranda?
Of course. I'm just finishing an operation report. I'm impressed, Shepard. So far things have gone exceptionally well. As Cerberus operations go, this is one of the best I've been a part of.
Maybe that's because this isn't a Cerberus operation.
Not to you, maybe. But I report directly to the elusive man. And I'm here because he wants me to be. Cerberus gave you a second chance, Commander. Maybe you should do the same for us.
What did Cerberus do that made you so loyal?
I suppose you deserve to know. Do you remember when I told you how I was genetically altered? Well, that wasn't my choice. My father created me. He's a very influential man and extremely controlling. He didn't want a daughter. He wanted a dynasty. I ran away as soon as I was old and brave enough. I went to Cerberus because I knew they could protect me.
You seem capable of defending yourself. Why did you need Cerberus?
My father invested a great deal in his dynasty. It wasn't a matter of just leaving. I knew he would continue to pursue his investments.
I assume that Cerberus approved of your enhanced abilities?
Of course. Cerberus fully endorses anything that advances the cause of humanity. Genetic alterations included. But unlike my father and his own selfish reasons, Cerberus and the elusive man believe in a greater good. They see the bigger picture, and I feel like I have a purpose here.
You talk about yourself like you're just a tool to be used. By your father? By Cerberus?
Maybe. I like to know where I fit in the world. It helps me find meaning in how I was created.
You are who you are, Miranda. You don't need to make excuses for it.
That's easy for you to say. We've both been engineered for greatness, Shepard. The difference is you were great before we rebuilt you. I'm great because of it.
Your spirit and personality are what make you great. It's what makes anyone great.
That's kind of you. I'm not sure I believe you, but thanks for saying it.
Thanks for your time, Miranda. I'll talk to you later.
Anytime, Commander.
Beauty, isn't it? Pried that off the Krogan warlord, Kazak. Used to run the blood pack out of Omega about 17 years ago. Wasn't even a job. The guy just thought he'd hijack a freighter I was hitchhiking on. Big mistake. I goaded Kazak into one-on-one combat. Took out his legs, grabbed his gun, and killed every blood pack bastard in the room. That was the most beaten Krogan I've ever seen. Kept a helmet to remind me of that pained expression. Thinking about past missions. Got a minute? You might learn something. Hey, don't touch. That rifle's older than you are. I call her Jessie. That's my lucky charm. More men have been killed with that gun than died in the Skillian Blitz. The day I laid her to rest was the saddest day of my life. I give up every weapon I own for one more mission with that shitty old rifle.
No messages for you, Commander.
warnings about the slums where Dr. Morden Solus runs the clinic. Anticipate resistance at the transport station. I have also run searches for reports on Archangel. The various mercenary groups appear to believe that he is dead.
Works for me.
The Verlet Consortium is going ahead with its plan to remove unfair slave trade.
Humans are a blight on galactic purity. You, sir, you're a blight. You and you.
Lifting our cultural rights. The Council is scheduled to hear arguments for the next few weeks. Verlet representatives.
I might have something here for humans. Not much.
I'm in the mood to spend some money, but I think I can find better stuff elsewhere.
You won't find a better selection anywhere. Unless you're willing to risk the black market.
I'd rather deal with you than give money to those thieves. You sure we can't make a deal?
Look, I can't compete with the black market. I have to make a profit. I'll do what I can, but don't tell anyone or I'll lose my shirt.